How you doing, sir? Few people on here chatting
I have a
on.
question for you, Bruce.
Yes, sir.
Did you read that on your last live or on the Patreon video you did about the
Uh,
cabinet?
I did you leave a comment on there?
Yeah, I did.
Oh no, I did not see
Um,
that yet.
okay. I left a comment on there, and I know you were talking about what you've already all the videos and everything that y'all already have. You know, like for the status. I still have not done my AOS.
Adjustment of status.
Yeah. And
Okay.
we found out there's more paperwork involved, and now the price went up, and but it's kind of confusing because they're asking for things and like they wanted to have a social security number. You know, I didn't know if y'all had a new video for the new forms or not.
We don't have any new forms, but we're gonna have to go through the process because we're gonna write a book about it. So I'm gonna have to like rehash and go through all the new, if there's any kind of new forms or anything like that, any kind of new parts of the process. But what I can do, Heath, if you know, I'm sure I've showed you this resource before. But if you go to, in fact, I'll show you as I'm talking about it. There's a really good site called Visa Journey, and there's a certain part of the site that has a breakdown of the adjustment of status. So here, let me just show you my screen here. Can you see that? Let me know you can see that.
Uh, I can't see it. I'm looking at the video screens.
Okay. Well, what I'll do is I'm just walking through it right now. I'm gonna show it on my screen and show you where the adjustment of status guide is on the channel. If they still have it, let me see. Maybe they don't have it anymore. I'd be really surprised if they don't. Visa Journey had used to have a breakdown of this, so that's what I'm trying to go to right now, Keith. Yeah, he went through the K1 visa process. So what I'm trying to do is show him the adjustment of status that comes after. Here it is right here. So adjustment of status, and they have a really good breakdown of all the documents you need to download, and then the entire process itself. See this checklist? This is one of the best. No, this is the best free resource online. Hands down, the best one I found in years. So better than anything we put out. Because some of our stuff isn't free. Like we got books, we got videos, stuff like that. But if you want free, this is the best resource right here. And what I can do
Uh,
is I'll put it in the chat window so you can see this link. So just to kind of going through what we went through. So
because
Yuri did this like a couple years ago, or we went through it a couple years ago. And so most of the work for the adjustment of status is on your spouse. But I no, I knew that like as we're going through, it's really referring to my spouse, the foreign fiance, the foreign wife. I mean, they're filling out most of it. But when Yuri had questions for me or whatever, or if I had to provide certain documentation, we would do it together. And it shouldn't have changed that much, to be perfectly honest with you. Said it's a walkthrough. It's going to break down everything you need to get that process done.
oh, just got it.
Yep. And if you get that link, what you're going to see is adjustment of status green card guide for K1, K3 visa holders.
Right. Well, see, the only reason why main thing I'm wondering about is they're asking questions, and I'm really getting confused as are they talking about me? Or are they talking about her? Because one of them's like, they want a background check of your history of your credit. And I'm like, how could you have credit? You just got here. And and a couple other things. They want Social Security information, and man, I want to tell you, I tried getting the Social Security card before the AOS, and man, don't do that. That is the wrong way to go, because that was a big run around through with the Social Security Department in Tennessee.
Yeah, in each state is different. So, California's process is different from Ohio's process is completely different from Kentucky and Tennessee.
Hmm.
It's just totally different. So, if I was to tell you exactly what we did, it's going to be slightly different from you, but the part that is going to be exactly the same is going to be on that link that I sent you. And right now, like as far as the instructions on how to fill the form out, if you click on the links, like what I gave you is a walkthrough of all this stuff. And if you're wondering like who fills out the documents and what you put in the document, right? When it's asking you about credit or whatever, well, there's an instruction for each one of the forms. So if you click on, like, right, I'm in the forms right now if you can't see it, but I'm looking at download the forms, right? It has all the following forms. It has I-485, it has I-944, and others. And if you click on that, it'll take you to where you can go into the instruction for the form. Like I click on this here, and then it'll have each one of the forms. And the cool thing is right here, if you happen to be looking at the screen, it have USCIS instructions. So I'm looking at the instructions for I-485. What is the purpose? The purpose. What is the purpose of the form I-485? And it says it is application to register permanent resident or adjustment of status. Okay, yeah. See, I was wrong. So this is the main form that your spouse will do, and this is the actual green card request for the adjustment status application to register permanent resident. So that's her. If used
Right.
by a person in the United States to apply lawful permanent resident status. Throughout these instructions, we will sometimes refer to I-485. And just for anybody watching this in the future, I want you guys to know I'm not a consultant. I'm not a registered consultant. I'm not a lawyer or nothing like that. I just talk about this openly because me and my wife went through this a few years ago, and now my wife is a U.S. citizen. So take everything I say with a grain of salt. In fact, don't believe anything I say. Research all this stuff for yourself. Go into the actual USCIS website. Go onto state.gov if you have any questions. The best place, the best source is the actual government itself. And so this site right here that I'm referring, I'm not paid by this site. This is not my site. This, as a matter of fact, what you're looking at right here is on the screen this is specifically from the government's information. This is the actual walkthrough of it. But each one of these forms is gonna walk you through exactly, has an instruction manual on what to fill out in each box, and lots of different information. Another thing that you can do, really cool resource that you can use on Visa Journey, is their form. They got this really cool form. So if you were to type in adjustment of status, and if you typed in, like, say California, it will come up with people going through the adjustment of status in California. And the reason why that's valuable is that there's some people who are going through your exact situation, have your exact questions, and they've gone through the process already. So you get to have it sets a precedence of what has already happened, and this whole process is based on a precedence of what has already occurred. That's why it's so hard, is because it's different from person to person, slightly
It's
different.
different because every time you go to one state to another, like Tennessee's different than Georgia. My brother-in-law, he did his when he was in the service, so it was a lot different because he was in Germany when she was in Korea. So him and I are just like, I said, dude, you don't even have a clue to what I'm going through because you did it when you was in the service, you did it all through the service.
Yeah.
And he goes, dude, I don't even know half of those papers and forms you're talking about.
Yeah.
And I'm like, really? I said, no, you can't really help me.
And the military really helps you through it. Like he probably doesn't even know what happened. Like they've got adjudicator, or they have an office that'll actually help you. Like I think you go to the family support center or something, because I know this because a few of my friends who had married foreign women, you know, from all over the world, they went through that process on active duty. So I know a little bit about what they went through, and it's a different. The process is the same, but they have a lot of help to help them through it. And then also it does vary. You're right. It is different from the military to civilian. Their process is slightly different.